Matt, ahead of the Crewe game, first of all, team news injury-wise, how is the squad looking?
As strong as we've been in recent weeks in terms of Hiram's still not where we need him to be yet. I said last week that the last 2 weeks of his comeback are the most important in terms of kicking the ball and his football movement. So he's training with a squad. He's still got a bit of a pain in the area from the original injury, so we're monitoring Hiram. We want him to be back as soon as we possibly can, but we've got to be mindful that we don't want to extend the length of time he's out for by injuring him again. So it's a tricky one with Hiram. We'll wait and see how he reacts in the next sort of 10 to 14 days. Troy Brown and Alex Hartridge still long term. The rest of the group, Luke Croller's side, are fully fit.
It's been a tough run of results. I think it's not a league win since October.
Yeah.
In that time, Hiram's been out for all of it.
Yeah.
Is there a coincidence in that, or is the fact that one of your big players has been out perhaps affected the side more than you maybe would have thought at first?
Possibly, yeah. Look, he's a good player at this level. He gives you a real threat in an attacking sense, and he's one of the players who can receive the ball in tight areas, wriggle out, and he's got the pace and power to leave defenders behind. I think he was our leading assist maker before he got injured, so that shows you where some of the goals have come away from our team. But in some of the games where he's not played in, then we've created chances. It's just been that either that end product or the final ball or a little bit of luck in front of goal. We're looking for that to change, and we'll work on it as best we possibly can, and looking at more options in terms of our attacking sense. A lot of the games we've spoke about as well, we've gone behind in those games. It's always harder and more difficult to break a team down when they're sat in shape. So we've got to score the first goal. And if it remains at 0, then we've got to keep backing ourselves that we're going to create chances and stick to the process and not panic too much, and keep the responsibility and the game outcome in our own hands.
You had the dream start to the managerial career with the way City began the season. You've had the ups. You're having the difficult period at the moment now. What are you learning about yourself as a manager during this period? Because it's results are what you're judged on at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. You get your results at 5 o'clock on a Saturday. That is exactly what you're judged on. One thing I will say, we didn't get too carried away at the start of the season. We were very level-headed with the way we started. We knew the weaknesses of our team, and it's still, like I kept saying, it was still a young team and a building team. Look, we're not hiding away from the results. We've got to be better than what we've showed certainly in recent weeks. We're sure it will change on the back of the personnel we've got at our disposal in terms of the players. Plus, in the games we're referring to, it's been fine margins. You look at Bury last weekend, who were a top team at home and a really tough place to go. And with those missed opportunities in the second half, along with a penalty away from possibly getting something out of that game. But like I've just alluded to, we've got to stop, from my point of view, shipping in poor goals which we feel we can prevent. I've said time and time again, we work so hard to create our own chances and create opportunities for ourselves. We've got to make it the same for opposition. Don't give them any cheap goals, and that gives you just a bit of belief and a bit more confidence. That's what we're looking for with this weekend, staying in the game as long as we possibly can, and a positive start which everyone can get behind and hold on to, and hopefully the confidence will start flowing back.
I know you started you've in the last couple of talked about the transfer window in January. If you want to tell me some names, feel free, but I'm sure you won't. But I mean, as far as
Messi, Ronaldo.
Yeah, Messi, Ronaldo. Sergio Ramos, all those.
Yeah.
But, I mean, seriously, you must be. Do you have a better idea now, coming towards the middle of December, of perhaps where your targets are and who you might want to try and bring in?
Yeah,
because I guess you've had a lot more time to look at the squad, and this run will maybe say where perhaps you maybe need to add a bit of
definitely, and it will change again come January. We might lose a couple of players, and we built what we felt was a squad which could compete in this league at the start of the season. But a couple of injuries as well have hurt us at times, but we're not making excuses. We'll build again in January. That's what we'll do each transfer window, look to keep improving this squad and implementing our way of playing onto the squad as best we possibly can. Results we're hopeful will change. If we keep on putting in a serious performance in terms of the way we compete, the way we play, and our mindset, then the results will change. January window, generally they take care of themselves. There's ones we can't affect in terms of targets and players going out of the club, but we've got our players who we want. We know who they are. The problem is a lot of other teams will want those players as well. So that's the way that the window works. We're not blessed with hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of money we can spend on a whim. We've got to be sure about our signings. So we felt we recruited well at the start of the season. If we have another transfer window where we recruit well, the squad will be stronger for it, definitely.
Indeed. Let's look ahead to Crewe this weekend, and I guess if you're trying to break a run of results, a side that I think it's not had the best run of results themselves, they've lost 6 or 7 games out of 8 or 9. Does that give the sort of record that you think this is a good opportunity to a side that are certainly beatable? Yeah,
but we go into every game thinking that. We back ourselves against every opposition. We did it last weekend against Bury. We'll do it this weekend against Crewe. We know that they'll be a threat. They're a good team at this level. They play good football for League Two football. And they've got good young players. Similar to ourselves to an extent, they really rely on their academy, which is credit to them, and they've stuck to that. So it'll be a tough test, and they've got some threats about them. Look, probably both teams a little bit low on confidence. I'm hoping that won't affect the quality of the game, but you know, I've said time and time again in a few interviews, I'd take a scruffy, almost horrible 1-0 every now and then if a goal goes off of someone's shin or an own goal. Look, that's the sort of fine margins I'm talking about for something to everyone to believe in again. I'm not saying the belief's gone from our group, but certainly from the outside on the run of results we've had, belief starts to dwindle a little bit. So we're positive that going into this weekend we're in a good place mentally and physically, and we're going to give it everything we've possibly got, and hopefully we'll get a positive result, and then we go to Oldham feeling a little bit better about ourselves, and everyone's a little bit more settled down, and then you know, you go into the Christmas period, it's something to look forward to.
I was going to say, because that Christmas period, 5 games in 2.5 weeks, starts on Saturday, and if you can have that first win in a while on Saturday, it does really get a bit of momentum, doesn't it? And then, you know, if the next 4 games you take ideally 12 points, but you take 8, 9, 10 points out of those, suddenly it's a whole different feeling again, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and we're still close to it. You know, the start of the season allowed us this poor run to a certain extent in terms of the points we picked up at the start of the season. Look, it can change so quickly at League Two level. It really can. You put 2 or 3 wins together, and then you're right back in the mix where you want to be going into the new year, and obviously the run into the end of the season. We're not even at halfway stage yet, so it's incredible how many games are left. And we had a reset meeting last week and spoke about, I think there was 26 games left last week. It's 25 now, so many points up for grabs, and that obviously starts this weekend. We're certainly not panicking in terms of where we are in the league, but we're mindful of the run we've been on, and we're mindful that we need to pick up points. And like I said, the fine margins have meant things haven't quite gone our way, ourselves included, in terms of the quality we've had, and we've not picked up the points we wanted in the last month and a half. So look, we have a good December, January, then it puts us in a great position.